Woman walks past homeless man every day, until he hands her a note revealing his true identity. Unnoticed by others in his immediate vicinity, an elderly destitute man devoted 35 years of his life to penning exquisite poetry and short stories. A critically praised documentary, The Conditioned, chronicles the extraordinary journey of this 77-year-old Brazilian philosopher and poet. Raimundo Arruda Sobrinho has spent 35 years living on the streets of Brazil. Though no one would read them, the 77-year-old former book trader and gardener writes poems and short stories to keep himself sane. Similar to numerous authors, Raimundo aspired for his writings to be published at some point in order to motivate others. But would anyone be willing to give a homeless writer a chance? Nope. Likely not. He had no idea how life would intervene and throw a curveball at him. After setting up his temporary abode, Raimundo Arruda Sobrinho would sit outside and write non-stop. He fantasized about the moment when his writings would appear in print, much less be read by anybody. Raimundo's life, however, was irrevocably altered in the spring of 2011 when he made friends with Shala. It didn't escape her that Raimundo was always writing on his little scraps of paper, always carrying his pen and pencil. A poem of his was given to her by him. At the age of 23, Raimundo relocated to Sao Paulo from his birthplace in the rural. He ended himself on the streets in the late 1970s when a dictatorship shook the nation. He didn't want to lose his love of writing, despite his circumstances. The villagers were never able to figure out why he would cling so tenaciously to the rumpled pieces of paper he was holding. They were unaware that these were poems and short stories that captured Raimundo's spirit and passion on paper. When Raimundo met Shala in 2011, his life was permanently altered. Shala saw him sitting among sheets of paper, pen in hand, on the ground. She had to find out what he was doing because her curiosity was piqued. One day, he gave Shala one of his poems as a sign of respect. The information she read astounded her. Taking Raimundo's amazing gift, she made the decision to spread it over the globe. Since then, more than 100,000 people have followed the Facebook page she started. Even more amazing than Shala's generosity in sharing his poems is the way Raimundo's words made it possible for a miracle to occur in his life. He had a great response when his poetry appeared online. Individuals made an effort to locate him, offer him gifts, and support him in his endeavors. One of the page's followers was Raimundo's brother, who went missing. He encouraged Raimundo to live in his house right away when he got in touch with him. This incredibly talented man had finally found a safe place to live after spending 35 years on the streets. He was able to properly groom himself, shave, and take a shower. He was able to eat. Even better, he and his brother had been able to reconcile. Montero states, "I received a message from his brother." After making contact, Sobrinho's brother traveled to see him in person. He recollects, "When I got to the island, I found a man in the middle of trash, hair, and unshaven, with no hygiene whatsoever. This individual was my sibling." After spending decades apart, Sobrinho's brother requested him to move in with him. This led to the family's reunion. My brothers are still living. Each and every one of them is alive. Sobrinho's brother claims that he was the one who was lacking to fill the void that we had. He's not a visitor. He is a member of the household. He is so much a part of my wife and my children. With Montero's assistance, Sobrinho was able to elevate his poetry after being evicted from home. His book of poems, #Inconditional, was released in December 2015. The impact of Sobrinho's narrative is aptly summed up in one of his own poems. Shala Montero genuinely took the time, initiative, care, and effort to contact out, rather than just expressing sympathy. Put out some effort. She didn't simply walk by and tell herself there was nothing she could do. She did take action. She made the decision to show compassion and caring. In the process, she inspired millions of people worldwide and transformed the lives of Mr. Raimundo Arruda Sobrinho and his family.